Well, hello everybody. I'm trying to figure out all the coordinations. There's my friend. Hi, Caroline. She's getting ready. Thanks everyone for coming to our Explain It podcast with Caroline Kane and Ingrid Hernandez. How's it going? Lots of
What's
people
going
out
on?
there?
It's kind of packed. Is it too loud? I can mute myself while I'm not talking.
No. Actually, you're pretty fine.
Perfect.
I mean, girl, you
Good. I was
pretty
hoping the
fine.
AirPods work out. What's going
Right
on,
on.
Ingrid? How's your day?
It's going good. My husband goes, so that big idea or that big present you're working on, why would you go? You're the one with the 9 to 5. I'm like, I don't know. It was my
I was
idea.
thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the renderings from the renderist.
Yes, for sure. So we're working on a super secret
Surprise gift.
surprise gift for someone. So we'll make sure we let you guys know what that is next week. So we got Tanisha in the house. Jennifer, all Texas is here. Kirsten from Washington is here. Oh, Wesley. Oh, I love Wesley.
Love
I can't
Wesley.
say enough about how much I love that man. He's such a good guy. We got Landon, JJ, Sean. Hey, everybody. Love this. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Really, it's all about it. So first of all, I want to say how humbled I am with how many of you reach out to us and how happy it makes me. I don't know. How about you, Caroline?
Oh my gosh, I'm stoked. Actually, today when I was doing my daily dial for that 2-hour Zoom, we went over a little bit, but we were going through the deals that were sent to us. I was showing everybody how to underwrite the deals, what a deal looks like, what a motivated seller looks like. So we are just really blessed, highly favored that you guys want to work with us, and you guys are contacting us and reaching out. Service is like one of my love languages. I love to give back. It's my main thing, and we love helping. So that's exactly why we created this podcast. I want to help everybody. So we love it. So everybody who tunes in here, thank you. We have 100 people on here right now. So everybody on here, I'm going to be quick because I'm boarding. I had told Ingrid, you're going to have to carry this. I might have to bounce out because my flight boards in 34 minutes. So I'm going to probably get out of here. But today we are going to be going over how to JV with us, how to JV in general. We'll talk about that. Even if you don't want to JV with us, we're sad, but we'd love to JV with you. What a deal looks like, what a lead looks like compared to a prospect, and how to send deals to us. Ingrid, we should talk about our new the web form you've had for a while, the new web form to submit stuff to us so you guys don't have a guessing game. So with all of that, this is awesome. Ingrid, I possibly have a deal I would like to share with you. I was trying to reach out on Instagram. So we will make sure that this link will be inside of our link trees on our Instagram story. So if you look like right here below me, this is my Instagram handle. And then Ingrid, you need to redo your name, Ingrid. Hers is Ingrid_Hernandez. You can find her on Instagram. But both of our bios and Instagram will have we have 130 people on here. We'll have the opportunity to send us deals that we can underwrite. We'll give you feedback on it. Today, I actually called somebody that had a deal in Tampa. We're flying to Tampa. Maybe we'll drive by it and make some content over there. If anybody's going to be in Tampa this weekend, would love to connect with you. Ingrid and I are going to be there from tomorrow until I'm going to be there until the end of Monday. Well, you're going to be there till the end of Monday too, right, Ingrid?
The beginning of Monday.
Yeah, beginning of Monday. Well, anyways, we will be in town, so you guys should definitely come see us. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I guess I'm getting ADD here. We would love to underwrite things, and we're just here to help you. Perfect. Ingrid just threw it in the side chat there, guys. So if you guys want to send us a deal, this is the website you need to go to. Submit the information there. It is called the Deal Dispo. I think we just get straight into it. What do you say?
Yeah, for sure. Again,
Perfect.
We're super thankful for all of you who want to do business with us. I hope that we are able to provide value. One of my favorite stories last year was how I was able to help Dario, who's a sub 2 member now, because of the deal that we did. His very first deal, 5-minute conversation. I kept my word, where if I had to put the property under contract, he would get 20%, and then 80% would be myself and whatever partner I may need to get. And yeah, so that assignment fee was $250,000. We gave him 50. My company took 100, and then the amazing Anthony Pappas, who does a lot of land projects out here in Arizona, was the one who handled the disposition. So it's a great story, and hopefully a great track record that we have to get you guys deals. So thanks for that, Wesley. Really appreciate it. Oh, smooth like butter. Hey, smooth like butter.
So guys, thank you again. And I do want to just say this, since you're all on here, we really, when you guys like and subscribe and comment, we see your comments. That's why we're doing this. So many people asked how to look at deals. So thank you guys for subscribing. You're helping us out. That is one of our goals, to grow our social media so we can reach out to more people. So we appreciate you guys commenting and all of that. But we're excited to go through how to send us deals and what a deal looks like and where we're working. I want to comment on one question when I was in here. Somebody said, any market. Ingrid, will you buy deals in any market?
No.
I won't either. Okay. Just so you guys know. And anybody who's new in here, is anybody here still trying to decide what market they want to invest in? Where my newbies at that want to figure out where they want to start investing? For those of you that are new and you're looking to figure out where you want to invest, like somewhere cold like I am. Uh-oh, it says my internet's messing up. So Ingrid, if I get kicked off, let me know. Okay. If you guys are still wondering where you should invest somewhere where it's warm, where you'd like the vacation. Great process. But another big one, my easiest way, if you guys know Jamil Damji, he has a company called Keegley. If you have a Keegley franchise rep in your market, that is where, in the market you're looking for, that is where you guys should start investing. But I would say if you have Privy, I know we've been talking about Privy a lot from the Elephant Challenge and everything else, pull up Privy and it can show you maybe I'll show it to you guys. It can show you what has the most listings, most activity. I would pick, we're looking in Tampa, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Phoenix, Tucson, and Flagstaff. Those are our main markets. If you noticed, all of those states we mentioned as well are red states. It's just easier for us to take care of those properties. They're more tenant friendly. So think of those red states are going to help you, especially if you get sticky tenants or any issues like that. But it'll help you. Vegas, we like Vegas. I wouldn't go as far as saying Washington. Ingrid, do you have something you want to say?
No, I'm sorry. I was agreeing with you.
Okay. So those are the main areas. But yeah, we'll be in Tampa this weekend. I'm actually looking to hang out and say hi to some of my friends. I moved to Arizona from Tampa. So tomorrow I'm getting in late tonight so I can do stuff all day tomorrow outside of my Zoom. So I'd love to help you out. Okay, somebody said they're looking at Privy right now. So why don't I, just because I mentioned Privy and then we'll look at our deal dispo, I'm going to just bring up Privy so everybody can kind of see, just so you guys understand. Bear with me if my internet kicks off. I'm really going to do my best to stay on here. So I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see what Privy looks like. And we will continue on Chrome tab. There it is. Here we go. So this is a map of Privy. This is the Privy map when you get on the website. If you guys ever want to find it, hover over here on the left-hand side, Privy coverage. So you can see public records are nationwide. All right. They have MLS data where there's blue. Their MLS is coming soon in the red, and third-party data is yellow. So you can see that I would say you should invest in these areas where they have blue data. Las Vegas, LA, San Diego. These are going to be a little tougher. Arizona, which is going to be Phoenix and Tucson, Albuquerque, Dallas, Austin, Houston. They're getting MLS soon. Oklahoma City. Look at that. Most of Florida. But if you zoom in, so let's go over to Florida really quickly because that's where we're going to go visit. Just so you guys can see when this loads up.
Here we come.
Yeah, I know, right? You can see Jacksonville has a ton of listings, over 1,000 right downtown. Let's look at Orlando, see if this will load. Again, I'm using free airport Wi-Fi, so bear with me. Okay, cool. Look at all of these. So if you guys look here, Homosassa, I know you can't see the whole word. There's 8 listings there. So everybody watching this, do you guys think you should start investing in Homosassa, even though it's right on the water? Do you think there's a lot of people investing in this market if we have 7 listings, 10 listings, and 8 listings? What do you think, Ingrid, while we wait? I know we have a little delay. Would you invest here?
Nope, not enough. I need the action.
Yeah. What do you mean not enough? What does that mean, Ingrid? Can you explain that to me?
Well, I love the way that Jamil has kind of explained it. Like technically, I don't know if it's a good explanation. I don't know. This is sort of my own version of Jamil's feedback, where going to find a buyer is like looking for a car, and why not go where all the cars are at and go run on that highway where you're going to get ran over. Like I would love to get ran over by a buyer. So you need enough activity. You need where people have interest, where there's population grow, where there's potential appreciation. Not everything is appreciation play, but You need to go and find where the activity is happening. And that's exactly what this map is telling you. So those triple digits, those, 430, 718, like those are the amount of activity that's happening. And that's really should give you a clue about where you should be.
Yeah. So guys, again, this is just Privy. You can see more in this, like down here, Wachalucha, whatever that is. There's just not a lot. So when you're investing, look where people are buying. You're going to have a better opportunity to move your deal. So we're not going to be going into Privy too much. I just wanted to share that for you guys if you're looking for a market to start investing in. There you go. Competition equals comps. It's absolutely. If you have no comps, I would probably get away from that deal. If you're fixing and flipping, get in and out, especially if you're wholesaling. So that's a really big one. All right. So Ingrid, I think we go over the deal. I didn't mean to put that one up there. Let's go over our deal dispo for everybody. And I'm going, while I share it, I'm going to just make sure my flights, I don't see anybody lining up yet. So I think I'm good.
Do you want me to present or do you want to present?
I think I got it for now. As long as I'm not losing internet, I'm going to, but I'm going to let you read it. I'm going to let you explain this sheet really quickly.
Yeah. So we really appreciate you all sending us deals or prospects or leads, and we're going to go over that real quick. But we're missing some of the critical information so that we can actually help you. Right away, what you see on there is the upfront contract that says, hey, here's how we're going to work together. 20% to you if you don't have it under contract. 50-50 if you do and you need to help us dispo, because myself and Caroline are connected to hedge funds. So we can help you, for example, from that perspective. We also have cash buyers. Again, we have the tools, we have the know-how. We got like the Privies of the world. We got Astro Blaster. Woo! And so we have tools to help you disposition. We know folks who are buying in certain areas. So for sure. And then if, let's say, we become your buyer, the wholesale fee is yours to have. So, and again, that would be negotiable. Obviously, we'll show you how the numbers work. Because part of this is so that you learn what a good deal looks like. And so all we want is to buy from you. So that's part of the journey here. And so you may hear feedback from us to say, hey, you didn't give us enough information. How can we, here's what's missing. I have seen that some folks are really nervous about sharing addresses, sharing more information. And just as if, like if I was going to go buy something on e-commerce, something on a website, if I don't know what I'm actually getting, I can't give a commitment of yes or no. So hopefully we can work with you to create more trust so that you know that we're not the type of unethical folks out there. Like my name means a lot. Caroline's name means a lot. And we want to make sure that we're here to provide value. So anyway, so this form is connected to our Podio. And so it gives all the fields that are required will have a little asterisk on it, and all the fields that aren't required won't have the asterisk, but they're really nice to have. So of course we gave you as much opportunity to fill that in for us as possible. And something that's extremely important is that you've actually talked to the seller or talked to the agent. We could probably change that to say agent as well in case it comes from an agent outreach here.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So guys, we want to help you. We're also buying in all these areas that I mentioned. We're going to get this update. I'm trying to get if anybody's a Podio whiz, I'm getting a video that we recorded with Ingrid's daughter, Isla, kind of explaining it all and helping out. But what do you think? We just run right through it really quickly and explain how to fill it out?
Yeah, let's go. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, guys. So have you contacted the seller? We need you to talk to them. Ingrid already said that. Next, please give us their name. All right. Give us, again, seller would be seller or agent. I can update this again so it says seller or agent. Please give us their phone number. Seller email, if you guys want us to, if we're going all the way and we're sending out contracts to them, please provide their email if you have it. If not, we can try and get it. That is not obviously an asterisk, but we do need their phone number and name. Property address, please. I looked at one today that somebody sent to our Google form and they just gave me the city. They did not give me the number for the house or the street name. So please give us the house address. We can comp it while we're talking to the seller. This is so important. Seller motivation and paying. Guys, this is for you, actually. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. I want you guys to just hear me and see me. You need to know why the seller needs to sell, especially if you're going direct to seller every single time. Not why they want to sell, why they need to sell. So I don't know if you know Slater. He's the Keegley rep out of Colorado Springs. I got on a few calls with him today for some sellers. There's a gentleman who is in assisted living now, and his house is going to auction next month.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's been getting a bunch. Yeah, he's been getting a bunch of offers, quote unquote, air quotes here if you're listening. But nobody's actually given him a solid offer in writing. And I figured out what he needed for the home. We're setting it up so we can get photos. He needs to sell because if he doesn't, his house is going to auction. He is going to lose his home. He's getting none of that equity. Like, done. Find my emphasis, I would say, is find people who need to sell. I've been talking about this the last 2 days in Zooms inside of Step 2. And I really want to drive this home for everybody who's not even in Step 2. Guys, work on sellers that are motivated, that need to sell quickly. So if you look back up at the top, you guys are on our website here in the web form. Look at sellers that need to sell in the next 3 to 4 months. If you get a seller that needs to sell in the next 30 days, that is a hot lead. And just so you know, Ingrid, I checked, my flight is delayed. Who would have guessed Southwest delayed my flight?
So
I should be
delayed.
So we should be good. I've gotten like 4 alerts that it's delayed, so that's why I don't see anybody lining up. But guys, focus on people that need to sell. So since this is a live podcast, YouTube, I would love to see you guys in the side chat here. Who do you think a motivated seller is? We have Ingrid. Also, we have 200 people watching this live right now. Everybody is on here. Thank you so much. If you know anybody that could get value, please share the link with them. Ricky Hines is on here too. Look at everybody. Peggy, I see you guys. Holler at us so we can answer your questions. We'll try and do a Q&A. I'll stay over until I have to board this flight. We want to help you guys get some help here. Perfect.
Let's
okay.
do it for sure.
So I saw somebody said pain. This is where I want you, everybody. You need to be more specific. Okay, you can't just say pain. It needs to be like, listen, I keep saying needs. This is why I'm always asking this. Why do they need to sell? Okay, if I don't sell, I'm getting a divorce from my wife because she's tired of us having these terrible tenants and we keep getting code enforcement fines from the city. This is costing more money. This is more of a headache than I thought it was going to be. If I don't sell, I'm losing this house to the bank. If I don't sell, my HOA is going to be taking this over. It's going to a sheriff's auction. A lot of those. Divorce properties, they're a little tricky. I'm working on one right now too. You got to get both people on the same page. But if there's a court-ordered one that Ingrid and I walked, I'm going to follow up with them again because they're not making their forbearance payments. So you just got to stay on top of that. The squeaky wheel gets the deal. Right, guys? You need to be front of mind. The squeaky wheel gets the deal. Constantly touch base with your agents, with your sellers, but continuously follow up. That's a good one.
That's hilarious. I said that today to somebody.
Did you?
They're like, yeah, because he was like, well, I don't want to sound like a pester. And so don't come in with that mindset. Because if you feel like you're pestering someone, you have the wrong intent when you're on that phone. So it's about what does your brain say. So you need to tell your brain, I'm calling to help people solve problems. No one is a pester when that is your intention. So make sure that before you're making those calls that you're setting yourself up right. Your brain it knows and it's signaling why you're calling. So anyways, I'm sorry. I thought that was important.
Oh no, that's absolutely. And what you think is like what's going to happen. This is another thing I want to bring up, guys. Did you know there's over 700,000 mortgages right now in the United States that are in default? People have not paid on. Even if you don't know creative finance yet, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you out. You go find somebody who needs to sell, bring it to us, and we'll partner on it with you. We will show you the ropes. Okay? So Mario said up here, I don't know if you saw it. Let me go back up to it. He said, Mario, owner dies, 6 kids, gets funds, responsible party, doesn't want to deal with it, and the home is in foreclosure over $50,000. Ingrid, let's talk about the mindset manner that you and Marlon are managing right now. How far behind is that house in arrears? And guys, just arrears means back payments they have not paid towards the mortgage.
Yeah. So I've been told don't say the term arrears to sellers. So what is your reinstatement balance? So reinstatement balance means how far behind are you? And it also includes all the fees associated and costs associated with a trustee to manage that mortgage. So you all know, usually a lawyer, at least here in Arizona, they get assigned that foreclosure process. And so they take a cost of being able of managing the administration of that auction. So they want to get paid. So part of the reinstatement of the mortgage is inclusive of those fees, just so that we're all on the same page. So yeah, we had a property, the Mindset Manor, which is an over $1 million property in Gilbert. They were behind by $55,000. And because creative finance is about cash flow, that those were the things that were determining our ability to be able to buy the house. So we put $55,000 to reinstate the loan. We gave the sellers $25,000 to be able to move on to their next step in their journey. And then we all got together. Well, not we, I'm there a lot. So I say we a lot. But we have some fabulous entrepreneurs who are living there now, and $50,000 is not a scary number if the numbers make sense.
I also want to just say, guys, Ingrid, I was there when she locked up the deal. I was there when she talked to the sellers. It was all Ingrid on her own. Ingrid did this by being that squeaky wheel. I like to make a lot of rhymes so you can remember it. The squeaky wheel is going to get the deal. The seller actually told her. I think you texted her first, right? And she's like,
"Don't want to talk to me."
Yes, don't contact me.
Never contact me again, is what she said.
And Ingrid was that squeaky wheel, so she was front of mind. And Ingrid was able to match that seller's energy, talk to her, and really relate to her. People want to do business with those they know, like, and trust. And that's how you were able to help this family from having a foreclosure, messing up. It was a military family that had a veterans assistance loan that could have really, she really helped this family out a ton when they were going to go. They had no time to sell it on the market. So creative finance was able to help that. And Ingrid, that was because you were persistent. So thank you so much for helping another veteran. So anyways, let's continue on. I just really wanted to emphasize, guys, they need to sell. Focus on people that need to sell and talk to them. Let me go back and share this some more so we can continue on to answering questions you guys have. All right. So seller name, phone number, email, property address. Please give us everything you can. Timeline to sell. 30 days. That's a hot lead. They have to sell or else there's an auction. Give us that detail up here. 150 days. I would say that's like they're in your cold bucket. You have 3 buckets for leads. You have your hot bucket you need to talk to. You need to follow up with once every 3 days minimum. I mean, if they have an auction coming up, probably every day. And then you have your warm bucket you should be touching base with once a week. And then your cold bucket you just touch base on, I would say at least once a month, depending on their situation. Property type, give it to us. We're really looking for single family. We are interested in multifamily, especially like duplexes and things, but tell us what it is.
Even mobile home parks, they're not making more of those. So if you have a mobile home park, that's actually something high in demand, especially when you go into a recession scenario where affordability is a problem. So people do, step down into a mobile home park if they need to.
Number of units that goes into the multifamily, or if they have more houses, maybe they have a portfolio of houses. Let us know. Give us one property and they're like, oh, they're actually trying to sell 20 houses. We will help. The condition of the property. So, Ingrid, you want to talk about what is excellent, what is fair, and what is rough?
I'm sorry, what did you say at the very end?
You want to explain what these are, these 3 different types?
Oh, yeah, sure. We can't see it when you click on it. Just FYI.
Oh, okay. My bad. Well, I can see it. It says fair, excellent, or rough.
Yeah. That gives us some context of what kind of rehab costs it would be. And something I love to say to sellers, so if you're ever on the phone call with a seller and you don't know how to get that information from them, this was a really great tip from Blake Smith. He's a sub-2 leader, amazing wholesaler here in Arizona. And he said, tell them, I was literally on the phone with him when he first showed me that. He's like, if I had I don't know, $30,000, $40,000 at Lowe's and you could fix anything you think you could fix on your house, what are some of the things that you would just be, because obviously once you give them a visual, they'll start picking things out and they'd be like, maybe I would change out the carpet, maybe a new AC. When you give them sort of that permission to envision what is it that they could do to that property, then you really start getting some good information. And I swear that line works. It's money. So it's if you had $30,000 or $40,000, at your disposal, if I gave you a gift card at Lowe's or Home Depot, what would you replace in the house? What would you update? And it works so good.
Good point. I think my audio or my Wi-Fi is good, but we will check in. If you lose me,
I'll let you know. It's Gucci.
Okay. All right, cool. So repairs needed. So tell us the big thing. I'm actually even going to add an asterisk in here. The main things we need to know are the big ticket items. Okay. So I'd say the roof is a big ticket item. Actually, why don't I type them in here? So big ticket. Can you see this, Ingrid? Ticket
Yes,
items. Perfect. So I'd say roof,
and I can update that.
foundation, HVAC, and anything else that would be another big ticket item?
Plumbing, electricity.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then
those are the main ones, guys.
Well, plumbing kind of goes with this, but and kind of not. Whether or not it's got septic, that's important. And does it need repair?
That's really big, especially. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's perfect. So those are the big ones for the repairs. And then you can just say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being built in 2023, 1 being outdated, full gut rent. Just give us a scale. Most sellers are probably going to say like a 7, but you should ask these questions first and just be like, hey, I'd say it needs plumbing and electric and a new roof. It's probably a 2 or a 3. So just keep that in mind. Estimated repairs. Quick way to figure this out. Each market is different. I would just do your square footage times a dollar amount. If you're just doing paint and carpet, what would you say, Ingrid? Probably like $15,000 to $20,000. And to be safe, you're probably going to do a few fixtures and stuff. What would you say if you just did a cosmetic right now?
Got it. Depending on how big the house is, but your typical 3-2 bedrooms that tend to be, 2,200 square feet and smaller. Yeah, I think that's a satisfactory number.
Okay, so guys, every market's a little bit different. If you're doing nowhere Indiana, it might be like $12,000 to $15,000. So each market is going to be market specific. We can go into more detail on that. You can ask us questions and we'll get back to you.
Can I pause you for just a moment? So
absolutely.
May ever asked if we're using a buyer's agent, do we need to speak to the seller directly? And if not, can we send you the information of the buyer's agent for you to call them? So long as you've had the discussion with the buyer's agent and the buyer's agent has satisfactorily given you enough feedback that says, yes. Like, some agents are really amazing. They'll give you, because they want to solve problems too, guys. They just don't know beyond the traditional means. So part of our job here is to educate not just other wholesalers, but also our agent partners. And that's what we need to try to do, is become their partner. But yeah, some agents are willing to give enough information so that you know what next steps to take. So certainly if I don't want you guys calling agents and they're like, all right, you get like very surface level information and then you stick them on us. Like, we'll quickly figure out who's not doing enough diligence with those agents, and know who not to take those leads from. Just an FYI.
That's a good point. Thank you. I can't see the comments. So I appreciate you stopping me there.
Oh,
guys, yeah, when I'm on that screen, I can't see. So seller asking price, contract price of under contract. So if the seller's asking, there's a difference between a want and a need. Guys, I'd like a unicorn. Doesn't mean I'm going to get one. Some sellers are going to say, I want to get $200,000 in my pocket today for my $250,000 house, and it's $70,000 behind on payments. Probably not going to happen. But give us their asking price that they're looking for, and if you do have it contracted, please let us know what that price is. The amount owed, if it is in pre-foreclosure or whatever it may be, and it's potentially a creative option, please let us know what's left on there, and you can list out the liens and the arrears. Occupancy, if it's owner-occupied, tenant-occupied, or vacant. And then if there is a tenant, let us know when that lease is over. That can help us determine the rent factors and what we can make on the property. This is with the realtor. Let us know if that's a yes or no. I keep clicking on it like you guys can see the drop downs. Yes or no there. Specific property notes, just tell us, is there anything really you'd like to have listed in here? It's for property notes, Ingrid?
Yeah. So what if it sits in front of a graveyard? I just saw a really cool video that said that, like, something unique that you're like, there's actually a double yellow line in front of the house, like meaning a road. So it's a busy road. Things that are maybe nuanced, and that's why it's not necessarily required, but anything you think that will help us better understand the property so that we can give the rightful offer over. So yeah. And then David has an occasion now, I think too, said we have a hot lead, CC. I'm gonna call you CC. Caroline Kane. I like
There
that.
you go. Well, send it over. We'll definitely look. I'll pay the $8 to get internet on the flight because I have to set up some more of our CRM stuff. So definitely check it out. So yeah, please let us know anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. And Michael,
if
it needs exterior paint, that's where you would want to add that. Like, hey, it needs exterior paint.
Oh, I did hop back over and I just saw V Speechy said, do you prefer creative deals versus cash? Baby, I like all deals as long as the seller's motivated and we need to solve a problem. That's all. Guys, at the end of the day, you're getting paid to solve problems. Look for the problem. Somebody said earlier, find the bunnies. If you're not in sub 2, you probably haven't heard of this, but Pace's first wholesale deal, our mentor, was by helping a woman who had rabbits, bunnies. She wouldn't sell, like everybody was offering her cash, but nobody's able to help her rehome her bunnies. He found a way to rehome her bunnies, and that seller wanted to work with Pace even though she was accepting less money from him. If you guys really look into whoever you're talking to and what their problem is, they're going to work with you they're going to want to work with you and will work with you because you actually treat them like a human being and you're solving their problem. So yeah, it can be creative, it can be cash. We love them all. And if we can't make it as a cash deal, that's when we will go into a creative deal and try and help. And it depends. If it's a great cash flowing property, we're going to try and get it creative as well. Cool. Let's go to, I do want to be mindful because Ingrid, I know you're doing 75 hard and you have so many workouts. So I want to get through this so we can answer more questions. If you guys have called the seller, please let us just know the notes. They tell you, I own this property with my wife. She's going to divorce me if I don't get this sold before the end of the month, or I thought whatever it may be. I can't make these payments anymore. I'm not in pre-foreclosure, but I will be, and I don't want that hit in my credit. So yeah, anything in here, call notes, anything that you've had. Expected follow-up date. So if you'd like for us to follow up with your seller, please let us know, like, hey, I told them that you'd call this week. If you guys submit a lead to us, I will say this. If you submit a motivated seller that is qualified, you send us the email at midnight, and then you expect us to call that person at like 10 a.m. the next day. Probably not going to happen because we plan our days out a little bit early, and we might be packed. So it just depends. But give us a heads up. You can message us on Instagram, be like, hey, I really need you to speak to this lead. Their auction is at 10 a.m. today. Can we stop it? So things like that. If it's very, very high priority, we'll try and move things around. But please don't expect us to be able to speak to that lead same day that you submit it. We'll try and move things around. Close of escrow date. So you'll see sometimes I'll say COE. That's what close of escrow is when you're closing out escrow. Contract end date. If it's for contracted deals, please provide that. Date the lead was submitted. When you guys submit it to us, that's required. That way we can keep better track of everything. KPIs, we want to make sure that we're responding to you. Actually, I did see Leah asked what's the turnaround time for responses to these. I'm going to say I check them every morning. So at least 24 hours. I don't hang out by my email all day, but I will check these in the morning and get back to you. If you have something dire, reach out to me on Instagram. I will get back to you even faster. Please tell us your name, so we can contact you and talk to you about the deal. Give us your phone number. Then if you have an LLC, throw it in here. If you don't have an LLC, no worries. I didn't get an LLC until after doing my first year of deals. So you can just throw your name right here.
Yeah, because we would literally write out the check to your name.
Mm-hmm. And then just below that, put your email so we can correspond with you through Podio. And then if you guys have photos, you just upload the photos here. Attachments, add those here, and then just select You're Not a Robot or hit You're Not a Robot, and then hit Submit the red. And I believe that's everything on this web form. Am I missing anything, Ingrid?
No, that's fantastic.
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girls. You guys got it. So now you know. Let's take submit leads to us. Again, it's over there. It's thedealdispo.com. So that's where if you put that in, you'll see that web form. I want to just kind of keep us on topic. Should we talk about what a lead is versus a prospect here, Ingrid?
Yes, let's talk about prospect, lead, deal. So not that we won't take your leads, we will. Just know those are structured a little different in terms of payout because it requires us to do a lot more effort in order to close a deal. But regardless of that, we want to make sure you understand what a deal actually is. Because people will say, like, Ingrid, I got a deal. And when I have the conversation with them, they're like, it's not a deal. It's actually, they searched that LoopNet or searched an MLS.
Zillow, yeah.
And it's just like, hey, the numbers are showing me that this is a potential. And it's like, okay, that is a prospect, my guy. Like, if no conversation has happened with an agent or a seller and it's been conversationless, all you're doing is picking, you're making a list basically of potentials. And that's not much. Like, if anybody can quickly recreate what it is that you're doing, I'm not trying to devalue. You're heading in the right direction, which is first analyze, what could be a deal eventually. But at the beginning, if you're just really filtering a website and you think something could come of what you have, that's really just a prospect a data point. Mhm. Now, if you have a lead, you've actually exchanged information. Like, you've had the conversation. It could be over text, it could be verbally, and you've had that exchange of information to understand the 4 pillars. Okay, you understand you need at least 3 of the 4. But what are the 4 pillars? Timeline. So when do they have to sell by? Something that you can say that helps you is like, oh, okay, so if we were to come to terms and we closed, I don't know, in 6 months, would that work for you? A seller will correct you and tell you exactly when they're okay. So that's a great approach to figuring out timeline, because you want to be wrong. You want them to correct you. Another is condition. So condition of their property, like we already went through that, right? Have them paint that picture for you, to tell you like what does their house actually look like. Um, Third is motivation. So, what kind of pain do they have? Is it no pain? It's a gain, right? I have somebody who wanted to sell their property out in an area in Glendale that's really affluent. They had zero pain. They're like, yeah, it doesn't matter if we sell it or not. And so, what I'm doing right now with that person is I'm just following up, because the what I offered was, I think, a top tier offer for even a creative finance, and they're just not there. But she has no motivation. She's well off. No need to get rid of the property. And then fourth is price. So thank you, Caroline. What are they looking? Do they want $1 million for a $200,000 house? Like, does it make sense for what it is you're trying to achieve? And we want to make sure that the numbers make sense. So there you go. So once you have at least 3 of those 4, now you have a lead. How hot that lead is just a different filter. But, kind of like what Caroline was saying earlier, if they're looking to close in the next 30 days, that I me quema, it burns, it's hot. Like, we're ready to go. So it all depends.
And let's go back into this because I think we have more people cycling in here, guys. Are you looking for fix and flip, buy, or hold, or both? Guys, we're looking for motivated sellers that have a problem. That's what it is at the end of the day. We always go cash first. Then we'll bring creative in if we can help them. We got a little caliente.
So here we go. Red has had convos with prospects. It does look like we're losing Caroline a little bit. Now have some leads that couldn't close. Well, that's great, Red. And if there's any way that we can help you, absolutely submit them. Becky asked, how does filing a bankruptcy petition affect a seller if let's see. If our seller, if that's what we need to do in order to postpone a foreclosure in Arizona Friday? Anybody? How does it affect a seller? It definitely does stay their foreclosure. That meaning if a seller has to pull the nuclear button or push the nuclear button and has to file bankruptcy so that they have some breathing room to reassess what debts they have, just know that once you push that nuclear button, it's really important for that seller to be prepared that they're going to get a court date. They're going to have some processes involved with a bankruptcy, but it should give them enough time. And if they can figure out their debt stuff in between filing a bankruptcy, then absolutely go for it and help them. You can file a bankruptcy and then not go through with it. Now, mind you, that's technically fraud. But, you know, when you have to put food on the table and a roof over your head, I can appreciate that some sellers are going to do whatever they can to make things work. And that's really their prerogative. So I just want to make sure you understand, like, you should not be advising to file bankruptcy. But there have been a couple of situations where a seller filing bankruptcy is their best solution. Like, they should actually go through the bankruptcy process, because a judge could effectively keep them in their property if they can restructure their debts. Maybe they have other assets that they can sell off to mitigate any debts or judgments that are really necessary, like a tax lien, for example. And then they get to keep their house. So it's just every situation is different. I could not blanket statement say anything. I'm also not a lawyer, an investor. And so know that, yes, a bankruptcy is something a seller can choose to file to delay their foreclosure, and then not go through with it, but it's not something you should be advising. Hopefully that answers. So yeah, prospect, lead, and deal. So if you have a deal, maybe all you need is and I'll say this, you've gotten it 95% of the way. All you need now is somebody to like affirm all your numbers, affirm all of the pieces of this puzzle that come together. The pieces of this puzzle come together. And then Caroline or I can close these for you. Absolutely. Like, we can definitely do that and help you with that. So I would say that that's like an almost deal. And then when a deal really is a deal that you need to disposition, you have it under contract. So of course we're going to ask you, what contract paperwork did you use? You know, is it effective enough? Does it cover enough of my rights as an investor and the seller? It really needs to be a balanced contract. It can't be like completely one-sided. One of the things that you have to think about is, if you were ever having to stand in front of a judge and explain what you did in that contract, and in good conscience be able to say, I did this for not just the seller's benefit, but mine, you have to think about it that way. At the end of the day, you're dealing with a business. These are contracts. Contracts go through a legal process, and you are now part of a legal process. And so you have to be able to stand in front of a judge and know that what you put in writing is fair. So, hey, Caroline, it says, hey, ladies, how do you include SID/LID? Would that be under taxes? Thank you. What is a SID and
What
LID?
is SID and LIDs? What Las Vegas home buyers need to know. I just Googled it. Guys, Google is your friend as well.
I'm on a podcast.
Special improvement district and local improvement district, respectively. The terms are levied by the city on here. Let me just share my screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I literally just Googled it. So if you guys are ever curious what we are talking about, just Google things that don't make sense. So I just read. These terms are levied by the city on districts and master plan communities and used to collect additional taxes from properties within these districts. Whether a district is designated SID or LID depends on the area or of the valley it's in. So this is for Las Vegas. I am not familiar with SID or LIDs, but yeah, why not?
If they're one-time fees, I would, if you're using that Creative Finance, our free REI calculator that I provide, I would just put that in as part of your closing costs. If they're ongoing costs, then yeah, you can. There's an extra expense line that I add into that that calculator that you can add whatever special assessment may need to be about it. Like, for example, HOAs sometimes have a special assessment fee for the manor, for example. I think we had to come up with almost $1,000 or maybe $1,200 worth of fees just to get on the damn HOA. So trust me, they come out of nowhere with these fees. So Agent Giselle Linez Jimenez, she said, I keep missing these meetings. I have to figure out the schedule. It's every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Arizona time. So we are here primarily from 4 to 5. Happy to stay over. Today I'm okay to stay over if it makes sense, but just know, because I am on 75 hard, I will excuse myself if I have to potty, because a gallon worth of water is just a lot for my body to take.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. And also, like, I talked about this earlier, just talking about you doing 75 hard made me think of this. Who here, if you're watching us or if you're listening to this replay, go ahead. Who here is looking to get a deal done in the next 30 days or less? You know, maybe you're looking 60 days or less, honestly. It takes a little bit. If you guys are looking to get your first deal, I apologize if I get bounced off. My Wi-Fi's messing up again. You need to have discipline. At the end of the day, discipline creates freedom for you to do whatever the heck you want. Okay, I see a lot of you are like, me. I love this. I look at everybody. Oh my gosh, you guys see this in side chat? It's like 40 me's right now. Okay, it comes down to discipline, and it comes back down to prospecting, looking for those leads, and it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, you have to continue. You have to pick up that phone. You got to know your reason why. Keep hitting it. That's where you get these leads from. But going back into the type of lead you're talking to, I would say the fastest way to get this to get a lead and to get a deal, you need to talk to somebody who needs to sell. Okay, I wouldn't focus on an expired list where they're like, it's just listings that have been expired. If you're list stacking, which would be an expired listing, plus you cross-reference it on the houses that are in pre-foreclosure, or you add in the houses that have code enforcements that you pull from the county, that would probably be a more motivated list than just somebody who wants to sell for the highest value, the highest dollar mark. So talk to people that need to sell. That is going to help you turn this in. Ricky said, I do deals. I see that when I get back to it. I do deals with wholesalers. Well, this something I can do with you all? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. But if you guys are looking to wholesalers, I would talk to them as well and see what their seller's timeline is. And then I would ask them, why do they need to sell? If they're highly motivated and they need to sell, they're going to be a little more flexible because they have to sell so they don't lose their house to an auction. So I keep repeating this in here. I really want to drive this home for those of you getting started. I'm trying to help out the younger version of myself. When I first started getting into real estate investing, and I would just call these driving for deals houses. I used to drive for every morning from like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'd go driving for deals. And then I'd call those houses and there's like, F off, I don't want to sell, blah, blah, blah. But if I would have gone driving for deals and then also stacked on the houses that had auction dates or cross-referenced with the city that had code enforcements, there's a little more pressure and pain, and that can help you out. So just keep that in mind, guys. You need to know who is motivated and has to sell. That's where you're going to get started. And then right before we get over to this one more thing, Ranu said, please share your REI calculator. Guys, if you go to Ingrid's Instagram and my Instagram, they're on the link trees there. You can go to our Instagram profiles. They're below our names when we're done sharing this. You can get that. And we've actually done a previous episodes breaking down that calculator. You guys can see it on our YouTubes. Now let's get to Elizabeth. Go ahead, Ingrid.
Yeah. So we did promise that we could talk a little bit about JVing. So part of our Podio has the upfront contract in that paragraph. So so that we both have an expectation. Because one of the things that matters most is like, what am I going to get out of this? Like if I do this business with you, and I would say that would be like our first deal together, right? If things change and things evolve and we see that you really just need a portion of our service, then we can come to terms on something else, just like any deal, and everything is negotiable. So I just want to make sure I put that out there because I think as your trust progresses, as you can see that folks you could really count on, then of course you're like any good relationships evolve, and so could those terms. So Elizabeth asking, at what point do you sign a JV agreement if we bring a prospect to you? Okay, so there's that term prospect. So our upfront contract does tell you if it's just a prospect, we expect a 20% to you, 80% to us. If it's actually a deal, then it would be a 50-50. Well, if you become your buyer, then that can change.
And I'm going to jump in there, and I have another great question I want to bring up here. The reason why you will be getting 20% on the prospects, we are doing all of the heavy lifting. You're bringing us somebody, we are going to qualify them. We are going to do all of the follow-up. We are going to send out the contracts. We are paying for a service to use the contract, send it out. We will open up escrow. We will put the earnest money deposit down. We will find the buyer. Like we will do all of that. So we're going to be doing most of the heavy lifting. We're going to be expecting, and this is how it should be when you guys JV, when you get the hang of this over time. You're learning from somebody who's already done it, and it's cutting down your learning process. So I want to drive that home of why that just differential is there.
Yeah.
All right.
And And so from a JV agreement perspective, I would say once we have it under contract, it's when we would also send off the JV agreement. Because if it never actually goes into fruition into anything, then no harm, no foul. I will say again, that's why we have our actually in writing what those expectations are. If you choose to submit through the podium process, so through the form process. Okay,
All
got
right.
another.
So,
Oh, sorry. Go
oh,
ahead.
okay, go ahead. I got next one. Go ahead. You do this.
Okay, so Paige asks, how can I make sure realtor gets me a finder fee for giving them a lead that turns to a deal? You should already have that in writing. That for sure, in my opinion, when you're dealing with an agent, and if you're giving them a lead, you should be sending them your W-9. And then that should be submitted to the title company. If you don't know what a W-9 is, that's okay. Literally Google it. And the IRS has a W-9 PDF form that you can actually just type in. Super easy to find on Google. And but I would have that agreement up front with them. And you can have a perpetual agreement. So let's say you continue to find leads. Like, for example, I'm an agent in Arizona. And let's say your leads, when you try to qualify them, the best thing that they could do is actually to list their property. We could have a perpetual contract that says for any lead that you submit to us, that we would pay you a marketing fee, because that's exactly what we're doing. Like we're going through a marketing process as a part of that lead. So hopefully that helps.
All right, I'm going to bring up this question that I saw. This is a good one by Lori. So when someone says take them off my call list, you call them again later. Sorry, somebody just came in. I want to make sure you don't hear all the background noise. Guys, if you are focusing, I just told you guys to focus on those highly motivated sellers that have to sell. If they don't sell, they're going to lose their house to an auction. Absolutely. I would follow, like, they have a reason they have to sell. You can see the auction date. They have to sell because they're going to be divorced from their partner because this property that they got as extra cash flow is ruining their marriage. Like, they're going to sell to somebody. Build that rapport. Continue to follow up until it's been sold. Okay? Follow up because I'm saying these things, it takes us 7 times to hear something before we really retain it. There are 700,000 mortgages in default across the United States right now in this moment. Can you hear me? There are 700,000 mortgages in default right now in the United States. Continue to pick up the phone, go door knock, talk to these sellers. If somebody's in, I'm using pre-foreclosures and these default ones as an example. Sometimes you can be in notice of default before you go to pre-foreclosure. You need to put yourself in their shoes, guys. Do you think they're probably really happy? Do you think they're having a good time being in pre-foreclosure? Do you think they like getting a bunch of random phone calls? Do you think they enjoy people knocking on their house all the time? Do you think they're paying all of their bills? Do you think they're getting enough groceries? Do you think they're getting enough gas to work? Are they working right now? Are they laid off? Have they gotten hurt on the job? Like, they probably have a lot of things going on. Take care, treat them like you would your mother, your brother, like your grandmother. Yeah. If you actually care and solve their problem, continuously follow up, and you believe you're going to solve their problem, do not stop following up. And when I say follow, don't talk to them and say, hi, I'm just following up. Check in on them. Hey, I know that you're having a hard time. Do you have groceries? Do you need help with something? Like help somebody out. Give them service, and it will help solve the problems, and then you're going to get paid forever by solving problems. So I'm glad you brought that up, Lori. You just want to say, Ingrid?
One of the first deals I did that was under contract, I paid for his phone and his groceries because, again, this is another human being at the other end of the phone, and it hurt my heart that he couldn't even afford to feed himself, and he had a dog. So it's what can we do to help him out while we work through this contract? So for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I had a woman in Florida. She had no water for 2 months, no electricity. Same with her dog. She was only getting dog food for her dog. She was not getting herself food. So, guys, take care of these people. And she's even reached out to me. She's like, I'd like to repay you back for everything you gave me. I'm not we're doing this to help you out in this situation. All right, Ingrid, do we do vacant lots?
Yes, we do. So far, my favorite kind. A couple of deals that we've done, and our biggest deal yet was not technically a vacant lot. It was a failed development. So it was an empty lot per se. But they had started to put down the road. All the permits were in place. So it was a fully entitled project. However, the lady could not project manage, couldn't take it to like the end, and burned bridges with contractors left and right in Sedona, which is a small community. So in fact, not just vacant lots, but understand that they're probably going to be like I think they're called infill lots. Those are going to be the best. If they're lots that are like where no man's land is, they're probably not going to be worth a whole lot. So just want to make sure that we're on the same page there. And then we'll want information like, does it have water? What's the sewer situation, electricity? Those are the main things. And then are there any permits against the property? Like did somebody already start a development process and did it not work out? Those would be my favorite because I know that my main guy, Anthony Pappas, can help us with those. So for sure.
Speaking of those vacant lots, guys, same thing with houses. If you have a house in the middle of nowhere, America, and there's no comps, not interested. Okay, we want to have where there's like at the very beginning of this, we showed you on Privy where to do deals. Teresa Anderson said, "Is it best to call or text for pre-foreclosures?" Guys, I'm gonna drive it home. If they finally are on your pre-foreclosure list, I have that same list. Ingrid has that same list. Everybody in this airport with me has that exact same list. It's speed to the lead, building that relationship, and then really trying to build a connection. So, I mean, you can text them, you can call them first, door knock them, you can send mailers. Ingrid and I were talking about all these options to work with those highly motivated sellers that have to sell, or at least we can help them refinance or get a loan mod or something so they can keep their home. All right, another question here. Do you have any tips on how to pull a good sub-2 prospect list on Privy, Ingrid?
I'm actually not the Privy expert. That's you.
I will jump in. So, guys, are you just like you want to buy sub-2 properties? Like, is that your goal? I would be looking for motivated sellers. If sub-2 happens. Again, I always go after stuff as cash first. But let's go over to Privy really quickly. Let's screen share on Privy and let's see off the top of my mind.
I haven't had to be a Privy user. I have my MLS here in Arizona. So when I go look specifically for creative deals, I'm looking for those properties that are 90 days or older on MLS. The purchase price is very close to ARV. Maybe they bought the property a year ago. So those are the ones that I think will have a higher likelihood that your creative solution will work. And that is accessible to you, whether it's Privy, Zillow, Redfin, especially if you have MLS access. Get with an agent and say, hey, can you put me on a search in Maricopa County that just sends me everything that's 90 days or over? And that can give you what you need. Or to start.
I would agree. Same thing. I was just going to run through Privy really quickly. I'm not even going to share Privy anymore. That's really what it'd be, guys. Subject to this is another good thing to know, guys. You have seller finance and subject to sellers. Okay. Subject to is typically going to be a very pain motivated seller. They have to do subject to. And most people, when you talk to them, like 9 out of 10 times, they can sell it with the agent from Real Brokerage, aka Ingrid. They want to just sell the traditional way that they know. Slight plug for real agents, or was that Real Agency, Real Brokerage?
Real Brokerage. Yeah, it's Real Brokerage.
That's also on Ingrid's link tree on her Instagram bio, but you guys can check that out. I would just say subject to, it's every situation is different. But even the guy I talked to today, the one who has an auction coming up, he's like, well, I have $70,000 left on my mortgage. I have $40,000 in arrears. The ARV on the house is $350,000. He's elderly, has not been fixing it up, and he'd like all of his equity out. He'd like to get $140,000 cash by the end of the sale. And I was like, probably not going to happen. But let's see what we can do. What do you absolutely need? So there's not like, this leads me into another one before I get to this next question. When you pull that list from Batch Leads or Privy or PropStream that says tired landlords, it doesn't email. They don't do a census every year and they reach out to Ingrid Hernandez and they say, oh, she has 10 rentals. Ingrid, please check the box. Are you a tired landlord? Yes or no? And then Ingrid sends it back. That's not how it works, guys. It's assumption.
Relationship.
They're seeing that Ingrid has owned these properties for 10 years. We're just going to assume she's a tired landlord, and we're just putting her on that list because she owns multiple properties and she's owned them for a while. So just so you guys understand, they're kind of under that umbrella of tired landlords. You need to do the call and outreach to see if they're actually motivated. So I hope that kind of answers your questions, but Ingrid hit the nail right on the head. Subject to little to no equity. People that are in pre-foreclosure, I'd say they've had short-term ownership would probably be your best, because they have to come out of pocket to sell their home and give their agent the commission or whatever it may be if it's listed on MLS.
Yeah.
Next question. Did I miss anything there, Ingrid?
No, you're very good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll read this for you. When getting a deal under contract, how do you figure out your offer? Is it always 70% ARV, Ingrid?
No, it's not. You kind of have to work your math backwards and understand what's it going to take because rehab is going to be a big deal. Now, in this market, there's not a lot of room for error. A year ago, we had a different perspective. So most flippers like myself, because I do flip houses, I'm looking for a 15% margin, and that's after all costs. So I have to buy deeper because I'm taking a lot more risk. Honestly, Eliza, if I had to do a math problem, I would say 60% of ARV minus rehab costs, because that's how bad things have gotten from an economic perspective in terms of
absolutely. And the houses are just sitting longer, guys. They're sitting much longer because it's more expensive to borrow money. I mean, if you bought it's just harder. So always be conservative, err on the side of caution. All right, Ingrid. Robert Pace III said, I'm looking into a small hotel that has a few apartments in the same building. I'm not quite sure how I figure out the numbers or expenses and P&Ls to structure the deal. Help me.
So we have a lot of. Yeah. So first of all, great that you have the P&L. That's amazing. So we have a couple of our commercial contacts who would work with us to make sure you've gotten all the numbers you need. I would say an apartment and the hotel part are just two different business, just connected in one commercial space. So you would have to render the P&L separate. Like, what does it take to manage those apartments? What does it take to manage those hotels? Are they using the same resources? How are they metered? Things like that. So we would have to kind of dive in deeper, but I would say just offhand, they would be two separate businesses or two separate entities, just that all happen to be in the same building. So,
all right, here's a question from Charity. She says, is it better to get a list from the city for pre-foreclosure or a Privy list? So, guys, your county is always going to be the fastest, most up-to-date data, but I believe Privy pulls for, but freshest data, exactly. But Privy is pulling that data every few hours from the MLS. So if the MLS is getting updated, I know Privy pulls it every few hours. So Privy probably has pretty up-to-date, but it's safest bet. Get a hold of your county, get a hold of your city clerk, get that data there. Ingrid, do you JV on buy and holds?
Hell to the yeah.
So for let's talk about that. Do you JV on the equity side, or are you really like JVing? Like, I'm going to give you, because I know Pace teaches give away an assignment. You know, it's kind of hard having too many chiefs and not enough Indians. So do you, like, how does that work when you JV on buy and holds?
Okay, actually, it's a great point. For buy and holds, I'm not holding property with other people. So just so you know, I learned the hard way. I was like, everybody gets a piece of this equity pie.
You get a house. You get a house.
Partner, we can do this. And I'm definitely not speaking ill of anyone. We had a very amicable breakup for a property we bought together, sub 2 with another sub 2 student. Very well-meaning, but we just had very different expectations, despite the fact that we went over like, hey, you're going to do this and I'm going to do that. And that's our responsibility to this property. And it didn't work out that way. So I ended up breaking apart from that partnership as a result. So I will JV in the sense that I will pay you an assignment fee. So if you bring deals, or if you want to keep it as a buy and hold, but you need somebody to hold your hand and be able to underwrite it and tell you what those next steps are, we absolutely will take a consultative fee for that too. So that's how we would JV.
I like that Agent Giselle even put this in here. You kind of already answered it, Ingrid, but if it's not, it was from a previous question. If it's not writing, an agent will not pay you. I'm an agent. I made the mistake of not having an agreement for a finder's fee, but you should have them write it as a marketing fee on the HUD. So guys, just so you know, if you want to get paid and you're giving a referral fee to an agent or you're helping them with the lead, get that taken care of. Do you guys invest in Cape Coral,
because you
Florida?
are legitimately marketing, you are spending time and money to market on behalf of other agents. So I'm not trying to be like trying to go around anything. You're legitimately getting paid for a marketing aspect that agent took advantage of. So yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just trying to be mindful of everybody's time here. Do you guys invest in Cape Coral, Florida? Heck yeah, isn't that where the rockets take off for NASA? Oh yeah, definitely invested in there. As long as there's opportunity, guys. There's certain areas of Florida, if we have a cash flow opportunity, for sure. I don't know if I see any other ones. Spelling of Podio. Somebody asked how you spell Podio. You don't need to type in Podio. Just look up the deal, dispo.com, and that is how we will look at the deals you sent us. Teresa spelled that for you. Oh, you've already made it down this far. Okay, you got our link trees in there. Cool. Ingrid has the link tree, so there you go. Ingrid's link tree. Do you have a script for creative financing and foreclosure prospecting? Joanne asked. No, honestly, I just have like an outline of what I need to hit. Am I building rapport with the seller? Am I trying to solve their problem? Am I actually more interested than interesting? I want guys, sales. This is when you're in sales and when you're talking to people, always act dumb. Even though you know somebody's in pre-foreclosure, like let them make, like if you have enough time, if the pre-foreclosure is tomorrow, sometimes you got to shake some sense into a seller. Okay, situational awareness. But if you know the pre-foreclosure is in 2 months or you have the auction date, let them tell you the information. Hey Ingrid, thank you for answering my call today. I'm following up. You spoke with my assistant. I'm just checking in to see if you're still considering selling your house on Main Street. Yes or no? She tells you. Okay, my next question would be is, I'm really curious. I'm going over the notes. They said that you like the house and you're really just looking, why are you considering selling? And get her to say that. Don't put words in their mouth. Okay, it should be 80-20. 80% of the time the seller should be talking, 20% of the time you guys should be talking. So also I would say no perfect script. Ingrid, do you have a script? What do you do when you're talking to people?
I don't. There'll be maybe some phrases that are what I'll call them like my crutch phrases because they're just something that's already embedded in my brain, but I do not follow a script. No. If you become relationship based and you're really high in your EQ, for example, you read what people are saying and you start reacting in a way that they can understand you. So that's the goal, to be understood and to understand. And those things will really get you far.
Here's a really good question. Amanda said, I'm new to this community, but want to learn. When we JV with you, will we get to work with you on all the steps until the deal is done so we can learn all the steps and aspects to getting a deal done? Thank you. I think that's kind of situational. You can see within Podio when we have a lead, when we're working it, you guys, I'm pretty like 99% sure you will see when we've contacted the lead. So you can see, reach out. You can see the notes that we put in. They didn't call, they didn't answer. So I say DDNA, double dial, not available. DDNA, touchback. I have a little shorthand in there. You can even, I think it even records our phone calls so you guys can see how the conversation went. There's all kinds of aspects of it. When you submit leads through the dealdispo.com, we can see those and we will help you out.
And again, if it's a deal, then it's really about dispositioning. If it's a prospect, it's really about managing and doing follow-up. So those are two very different expectations. But absolutely, Amanda, especially if you are a part of Sub 2, we have a lot of Q&A sessions. We have a lot of Zooms where we could talk about like, what are those next steps? Now, I don't want to oversell us. So there's sometimes, like I worked on a deal where it was just easier for me to talk to the seller and just get it across the finish line because the person who wanted to know, wanted to learn was actually holding us back a little. So it was just easier for me to get involved. Let's get the deal done. And then we'll debrief afterwards. So like what happened? Like what were the important steps that you needed to learn from here?
Why did you do this? So you can ask us that and we'll help you out there. Okay. Ingrid, can a wholesaler get in trouble? Perfect. Ingrid, can a wholesaler legally for marketing a property? Yvette wants to know.
Yeah, you can absolutely get in trouble for marketing a property that you have no rights to market, for sure. You're welcome. So if you don't have,
You need to have the
and I
actual
believe
picture.
that's what they're asking. So now if you're daisy chaining, if maybe that's what the question, what do you think? Do you think that that's what they're maybe asking? Like, hey, I have this.
I think they might be saying like, even just putting it on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe even trying to throw it back on the MLS. There's so many ways you can look at this, guys. Whatever your contract is between you and the seller, so say it's me and Ingrid, between the two of us, if my contract says I can list it on the MLS for marketing, I'm good to go. If my contract says I have the right to market this on MLS, Facebook, Craigslist, with a yard sign, all of that, you're okay because they signed a contract and it's in the fine print. If you don't have a property locked up and you're trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and all these accesses, yeah, that's complete. It's not your property to sell. You don't have an agreement in place.
Correct.
Rocio?
Rocio?
Wanted to
Rocio
know.
Pineda.
Rocio? They're both the Latina explain it. What is the usual fee for the agent marketing, Ingrid?
I would say definitely nowhere near what you're expecting on a typical assignment fee. Like literally, it's probably like $1,000 or maybe $500, depending on the deal. I don't know if you're in Alabama, Arkansas, it may even be less than that because the purchase prices are so much lower than something like in Arizona. So, for example, I'm an agent, and let's say you're looking, you're a buyer or a seller, and you're in a state that I can't do business, but you trust me and you're like, Ingrid, who could you refer me to? If I refer you to another agent, I generally make anywhere between 20 and 30% of that referral listing agent's fee. So let's say it's a $100,000 house. It's a 6% listing. That listings agent's 3%. So then I would be making 20 to 30% of $3,000, if that makes sense. So it's little.
Tamicia said, do we fill out the form if we want consulting on a property we want to hold? Yeah, we'll get our fee. You'll give us an assignment for locking it up. So same thing. If you were on here at the very beginning of this recording will be up on YouTube in no time. We actually laid out how to fill that out on thedealdispo.com so you guys can see. Again, that's how you submit your leads. Jonah Corchin's in here. What's up, dog?
Hey, what's up?
Okay, let's see. Any other good question? I don't see. Okay. Justin Mitchell said, can I JV with you if I haven't spoken to the seller, but the agent has, the seller is open to cash or creative? Have you spoken to the agent?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you've talked to the agent and the agent has said, absolutely, send me what you got, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know what to send, then that's when we can help you for sure. Yes, I'm only licensed in the state of Arizona. I've actually been thinking about Nevada and Texas just because we see a lot of deals in those two markets, and I want to leverage being able to get paid in those markets a little differently, but it's not really an expectation. No, I'm not with EXP, Peggy. I'm with Real Brokerage.
Real Brokerage.
Like the real one. You guys may have heard of Ryan Pineda, who's a huge investor out of Nevada. Steve Trang, Matthew Potter, Ryan Zolan. Those are my big guys that I'm aligned up to at the Real Brokerage. So if you're interested in coming to the Real Brokerage, check out my link tree. On my link tree, you will see an opportunity to sign up for Real Brokerage, or at least have a startup conversation where we can have that discussion. I just talked to a guy named Tim today. He was licensed in Texas. He might still be licensed in Texas. He moved to Arizona. He's like, I don't want to be like those typical traditional agents. Like, yes, I want to do traditional business, but I also want to supplement and think about growing my own wealth and growing my portfolio using creative finance terms. So I was like, Tim, I got a team for you. And so every Tuesday, the family tree, that's our group with Real Brokerage, we get together, we spend at least an hour together, and we talk about what issues are we each facing, what's the market doing, where are rates at, and then like how do we creatively find more than one way to make money as agents. So there you go.
All right, Ingrid, I think I'm going to go get ready to board my flight. I don't see any other questions here. Thanks for doing this with us, guys. Thank you so much. If this is your first time on here, please let us know how you heard about this, how we can connect with you. We'd love to do topics and explain things that you guys need help with. So, excuse me, I'm chewing on a lifesaver. Let us know what you need help with, really. we're down to partner with you. We're down to answer questions. We want to be the source that you need when you're getting started that we wish we had. And we want to do a better job. There you go. Real Brokerage is nationwide. Come aboard again one more time. Go to our Instagrams. We'll post it after I take this off. Ingrid_Hernandez. You can see the link tree. Mine is at the Caroline Kane. And please, 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 guys, our goal is to be louder and help more people get their first deal, or to do their next deal, or to lend, whatever you guys would like with real estate. Like, subscribe, comment. You know the deal. This is free 99. We just ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube. That's the big thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ingrid, I'm going to let you close this out.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. Again, Caroline and I really do appreciate your support. We're here every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Arizona time. As you can see, we stayed over because you guys had such excellent questions and engagement. And honestly, so long as you guys allow me at least one bathroom break, we can start thinking about doing this from 4 to 5:30 if that helps you guys all out. Again, we love you. We want to make sure that we give you as much value as possible, and that we give you a platform to come and ask those questions that you're just afraid to ask because you're like, oh, I'm a newbie. And I'm like, that's okay. We all were newbies at some point. So come on down, subscribe to our pages, our YouTube, and we'll help you as much as we can.
We all started somewhere, guys. If you're in Tampa, would love to see you guys this weekend. Peace out. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Ingrid. See you, everybody.